Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Friday, December 20th, 2024. Before I jump into all the relevant charts here, I do want to mention a couple of things. One is next week, just so you know, we're just going to do a weekly video for both Tesla and NVIDIA. Now, if you're a wickedstocks.com subscriber, you're going to get daily analysis at least early and later in the week for both of those as usual. But for the week, on Sunday, we'll put out a weekly video. It's not going to be as fine-tuned, of course, as it normally is day to day. In other words, these formations here, the support in the low to mid 120s, resistance in the low to mid 140s, they'll be shown on a weekly chart, and they'll be kind of rounded up or rounded down, if you will, because of that. But then, of course, it'll all resume as normal a week from Monday, just so you know. Also, this week, we put out two stock picks, one on Uber, the other on Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. We put that one out on Thursday. All relevant, all still very tradable. You might want to check it all out. And if you take advantage of our 5-day free trial now, you will get next week's, excuse me, daily SPY and daily triple Q analysis early and later part of the week to stay in tune of those developments. Big developments in both those markets, especially the triple Q and the NASDAQ 100. You want to check it out. You'll see it all for free by going to wickedstocks.com. I could actually start here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to this chart just to remind you that earlier in the week we did actually test the weekly channel bottoms on the weekly chart. That inside channel 126.89 was tested. We've got 123.54 as the extreme. That is the downward pivot point as we move into January. But on the daily chart, let's just keep it simple and go with this. This really says a lot. I could spend the rest of the video on this chart alone. That is to say, on the daily chart, those same exact formations were not tested. That often happens with the difference between the weekly and daily charts. 123.83 to 126.23, still solid bottom picking territory as we move over the next 2 to 3 weeks, expecting the low to mid 140s. And over the next, I'm just going to round up and say over the next 2 to 3 months, up to that 163.48 rising channel top, rising steadily. I consider that a realistic 2 to 3 month objective, holding above the 123.83 to 126.23 area. Now I say holding above because we actually tested the 126.23 inside channel, the weekly chart version of that. So I do think the market poised for recovery. That is not to say that we won't fall today into that 123.83 to 126 23 area. And if we do, it presents a buy opportunity into the low to mid 140s over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Upside today, 132.67. That is a pretty clearly defined 2-week descending channel top that's contained buying pressures pretty well so far this week, Wednesday, Thursday's highs. If we can close today, Friday, above 132.67, that does set off a short-term buy signal. This following a test of mid to long-term support this week in the mid 120s. And if we do close today above 132.67, by the end of next week, we should continue into this 142.36 to 145.29 area, where we could top out through the following week, fall back into this band of channel support within 1 to 3 weeks of doing so. As I've said before, we could fill this entire area out well into January trade before the market tips its hand in the respective direction. Tip its hand south, that would be a settlement today below 123.83. And if that does occur, if you got long, if you are long, and your time horizon is 3 to 5 weeks out or sooner, I would not suggest holding a long position in NVIDIA. If we close today below 123.83, I show 114.45 as a realistic 3 to 5 day objective, say by the end of next week. And over the next 3 to 5 weeks, roughly 101.58, where this market encounters long-term support, able to contain selling into the second quarter of next year, and from here we can round up nicely in the months to follow. But I do expect 101.58 by the end of January, possible, with a settlement today below 123.83. Until then, that is bottom picking territory. If we can close today above 132.67, we have a buy signal into next week. And if you're long already, you can then anticipate, let me go to this one, Once again, 142.36 to 145.29 by the end of next week. On the way up today, if we happen to push through or open above 132.67, that 137.60 speed line, then likely, and we could top out there for the balance of the day following a push or open above 132.67. But once again, closing today above 132.67, if you're a 3 to 5 day swing trader, that is your opportunity to go long into the low to mid 140s. Until then, 3 to 5 day swing trader, you may be short following the testing this week of that 132.67 channel top, anticipating an outright testing of the 123.83 to 126.23 channel support. Now, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we can close above 145.29, I think we're done bottom picking in the 120s and should, over the following, well, I'd say 3 to 5 weeks or so, continue onward and upward into the low 160s and climbing. As time goes by and this channel top continues to drop and this channel top continues to rise, that target will stretch out to more like 1 to 2 months. But for right now, if this were to happen, say, by the end of next week, we're talking a 3 to 5 week rally into the low 160s. It's just sort of a nuanced dynamic that you can only really appreciate on a day-by-day basis. Once again, closing today below 123.83 sets up a big picture sell signal through January, expecting the low 100s. You want to check out the triple Q right now. We are at a very important level in the NASDAQ 100 and triple Q. I'm not going to go into it, but you should check it out. Go to wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of our 5-day free trial. You also see our stock picks over the last few weeks, daily triple Q, daily SPY analysis. We'll be doing that day to day next week, except for the holidays, of course, whereas NVIDIA and Tesla, we're thinking we're just going to do a weekly video for all of next week that you'll be able to see Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. And that'll cover you for the week. It won't be nuanced with the fine-tuned daily chart formations like you see in front of you, but it'll at least give you a solid rounding up or rounding down of those levels through the entire week. We'll then resume day-to-day analysis the following week. So I am going to leave it at that. You have a fabulous weekend, and please click like, share, subscribe. I'll be back Sunday afternoon with next week's NVIDIA report. You have a great day.